Well, everybody. 5v5 is coming back around. I'm really excited. I prefer 5v5 to 3v3, as I know a lot of you do, and Grand Arena being my favorite game mode. I'm looking forward to it. Today I'm going to be going over best squads to use, both are all of offense, defense, and flex teams, which could be either offense or defense. Goes without saying, I haven't thought of every composition possible. And also, you might not be at 11 million GP account like me, or even higher. And so you won't be able to do all these comps, but I'm just trying to give ideas out. So don't expect it to be your guide to everything. But if you're like me, you get amnesia in between seasons. Like it's been 2 months since you first set up for 5v5, over a month since you last played it. So you might need your memory jog. That's what I hope this does. Thanks for watching. And as always, we're going to start with looking at our offensive squads with Galactic Legends at the top, and otherwise not entirely in a ranking order, but they were kind of in the order they came to my mind. First of all, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Pretty sure he should be dedicated to offense. That's one of the most offensive Galactic Legends out there. Very versatile, very useful. You can beat Lord Vader with him, Jabba. You got an outside chance at Leia with like armor, but you gotta be lucky and get 3 stacks of Beskar off. And if it's the toxic lineup with Han Solo, that's going to be pretty unlikely because he could even shoot Watt, and I don't know, it's tough. But still really flexible, not really going to get too much on defense unless people are trying to be really creative with Malicos comps, and I don't think that's the best idea. But still, super valuable on offense. It's kind of nice to have one GL that you at least feel comfortable saving for offense no matter what. Now for the Jedi, there's a lot you can do with them. I'll try to show all these in one frame. But this top one, I named it Leia Killers because I was able to beat Leia with it. You got to be careful though. You got to mind your AoEs because JML could get destroyed pretty easily. I did beat the Toxic Leia comp if you didn't see my video yesterday. A lot of it's thanks to Cal, but you kind of need the Cal DC for that. Revan is fantastic with him because he can swap turn meter and get him to his insta-kill fast. So you can kill R2 or Drogon and then just gun down Leia, focus her in with Revan's marked. Hodu was important too because he healed up JML after he was on death's door. So that's going to be my plan for Leia. I don't know. I hope we come up with something better as time goes on. This is another JML comp. This is good for taking out Lord Vader. So maybe you're not the type of person that has to fight Leia or worry about that. But you do have Lord Vader, and this is pretty easy because you can stun with Luke, Shock, and Revan have cleanses. Hoda keeps him alive. You just try to kill the sides, kill Maul as soon as possible, marking him, and you're gonna get that done. A non-JML comp is Revan. I think if you have Jedi Cal, I think putting him with Revan is a fantastic idea. You can really stretch and just use Basta lead and keep Revan with JML. But Revan and Cal work so well together, especially because of that turn meter swap and extra speed and stuff. But just a fantastic team. He's really, really good. I'm really excited to use him this season. I don't really have much experience with him, but I'm already enjoying it. Next Galactic Legends, we've got Sith Eternal Emperor. This is my favorite place to use Watt. Throw Watt in there and it's just a nice babysitter. Armor too, but it just depends. I mean, Sith Eternal Emperor on offense, not really using him with Sith, just using him with babysitters. Geonosian Brute Alpha is a great sub in there. Maybe Sith Empire Trooper as a pre-taunt, but yeah, you get the picture. And then this is kind of interesting. So Maul with Imperial Super Commando and Gar's action, apparently they can 2-man gas, but if you're not seeing gas, this is a really strong team. You need either all Darkside Mandalorians or Empire, and the 5th Empire slot, Magma Trooper, is pretty good here because you can't use Watt anymore to get things going, but Magma Trooper, whenever he either resists a debuff or suffers a debuff, against 7% turn meter. So as long as that debuff isn't days, he can jumpstart you really well. Get a special off, then Maul can go, and then Candace will go off to the races. So that's a pretty strong team, but I wouldn't set it on defense. I'd have it on offense, and if you choose to use that on offense, Lord Vader's not going to have Maul, and you can use a variety of Empire characters. I like Piet in there. I think he supports Lord Vader very well. Royal Guard, of course. Thrawn is a nice add-on. And Nine Sisters, both Empire and Online Force user. So she could stack a lot of defense if you have that right Datacron. This is kind of a split if you think you might be using the small lineup. Next, we got a couple of, they may be Galactic Legend killers. We got Starkiller. With all the unaligned Force User Datacrons and these comps we're seeing, I'm not sure if Starkiller, even with the Riposte, is the best option for Rey, but I do think Riposte on him is going to be a great option some way or another. And Visas Mara, that Datacron is going to mean as long as she doesn't die, she's going to bring someone back, and you can count on it. But it's going to be a really strong team. It might be a good defensive team, we'll have to see. But I still like it on offense. A lot of variety can take out General Skywalker. I don't know if... I had problems in 3v3 against General Skywalker, but hopefully that can work. Might work on Malicos. That's one of our options there. But just a great team overall. Then the Captain Rex squad, the Phoenix squad. Last season, I had a lot of luck taking out Lord Vader's. I don't know if I took out a Jabba. I think I took out like a cleanup for a Jabba after trying CLS. But they're a fantastic offensive team. They can also kill Reva. Hopefully that's still a thing this season. But yeah, they're fantastic. And I've talked a lot before about how I think Sabine and Kanan are the 4th and 5th you want to manipulate Stagger. Some people say you want Sabine first to get out Stagger first, but I like Rex faster so he can get out Tenacity down and make it more likely to land the Stagger, because Sabine might miss that on her own. And Chopper is mandatory there. But fantastic team. You're going to get something out of them. Don't put them on defense. They're sitting duck for Padme. Next, we got two classic offensive teams. We got Bad Batch. Don't really want to set them on defense. Maybe there's some kind of Shaak Ti team you could put with them on defense. I don't know. And actually, there is this like weird combination out there. I don't know it that like take out Rey's. But it's like involving Commander Cody and Shaak Ti lead, but you have to have specific modding for it. I don't really know too much about it, so I'm not putting it here. But it's kind of interesting. Otherwise, I'm just going to use them as I normally do. Great for banners, or take out a variety of stuff. I think they work better on Tarful than 5v5, which I hope works for me, because I hate Tarful. Next, Iron Versio. Put her with, I think, the core. If you have Scout, definitely use Scout. Otherwise, the core is definitely Death Trooper. Range Trooper if you have it available, if you're not putting Range Trooper with the standard Imperial Troopers. Short Trooper is great for it. But if you want to put them on defense, which might not be a great idea, Scout Trooper is fantastic for that, because it has an irresistible daze that can make it pretty much Wampa proof. A daze target enemy for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. So Wampa without daze is like a garden without flowers. So it's not really going to be a great counter there. Next, we got Bounty Hunters. It's a fantastic offensive squad in 5v5. We're more open again and can use Zam to speed us up, give us a boost. If you're going to take out a Lord Vader, clean up a Lord Vader, you need Fennec in the lead, and you might want Bam in here instead of Zam. That's funny, Bam, Zam. But yeah, otherwise, it's a great team. I like it for Admiral Raddus, or just if you're desperate to take out one target character, like you got a leftover Malik, it's going to be pretty... Malgus, it's going to be pretty easy there. And then Wampa, if you're in a lower level, I mean, Wampa's amazing. I don't always get to use Wampa, but still an offensive character. Next, we got some Rebel units, some mainly Rebel fighter units. I'm always a fan of Raddus on offense. On defense, I think it's too easy to get around, at least in the late game in Kyber. But on offense, it's so fantastic. You don't even have to have good mods. You just need Admiral Raddus to be chunky. I have him really chunky and fast. I actually have really good mods on him. Overall, pretty balanced. High health, high protection, high speed. But he can bring people back. Jin can bring people back. She can't die. The AI is stupid. They zone in on her. And then you kill most of the enemy team just through the exposes that you land. So, pretty fantastic. And then Mon Mothma, I'll give credit to Zareth Prevail's video on, I think, footage from Solo Base 15. They're showing that this has potential to beat Galactic Legends. Of course, that's only if you have Drogon at like high relics. So this would only really apply to people that are on their way to getting Leia, but don't have Leia yet. Because if you do have Leia, you definitely want Drogon there. But this Datacron, if you don't have Leia yet, it would be fantastic. Slot in here. I think they try out Lord Vader and Jabba. It's not something I'm going to do, probably. I'll probably use Rebel Fighters on defense with Saw. But yeah, that's just an option. Next, we got Tuskens. I don't think they're a defensive team in 5v5 because the Omicron for Raider does not apply. That Omicron is essential to getting any kind of ground. Otherwise, on defense, they are sitting duck or Radis. Like, Radis 5v5 just dominates them. But on offense, they're a pretty good counter to Terminator train teams. So just keep an eye out. I forget who I used them against last season. Maybe General Grievous. I think Zori, they have a chance, but it's not fantastic. But it's just a nice team to have on offense, especially if the team is vulnerable to dots, like if they don't have a bunch of immune to percent damage health effects characters. It's going to be fantastic. Then Imperial Troopers, I mean, they do have a Datacron. They do have a chance to punch up a lot more this season. If you want to take on Lord Vader with them, you need to like have Iden in here and make her really fast and like have Watt or something. And then it's just Veers, Piet, and Dark. I'm probably not going to bend over backwards to try and figure that out, but it's kind of a cleanup team. Or a good team for like a B-level team. Another good Imperial Trooper team, if you have them all, if you have Scout Trooper, you put Moff Gideon with Dark, Death, Stormtrooper, and Scout Trooper, and make something happen. I'd recommend Zetas on Scout if you're going to do that. I don't really have those Zetas, so, and the Zeta on Moff Gideon's leadership, so I might be not be running this personally. Might be decent on defense too, but I don't fully understand it. I just know it's a good comp. Then for Jabba, from what I've heard, mainly from Ken, if you're going to try to take on Jabba in 5v5, Talia's nice for like cleansing or something. And then you mainly you want people to die, so that's why we don't have Daka and Zombie here. Most people are going to use, if they're going to use Night Sisters, are going to use Daka and Zombie in some form. But this could also open you up to use Daka and Zombie with Supreme Leader Kylo or something. Not an expert on that, just throwing it out there. And the last two, we got a Gibme squad. These are all support characters, so they are going to gain, or maybe Barris doesn't gain. Does the healer gain the support, the protection up from Moff? Support allies gain 100% shot. So maybe Barris doesn't get it. But Padme, Shakti, and Yoda will get this. Actually, I didn't mean to have Barris there. This is what I meant to have. I meant to have Ayla there, because you have the Ayla Datacron. This is actually fantastic. But damage reduction for Jedi, Shakti, Yoda, and Ayla are going to be easier to stay alive, and then you're going to get a lot of assists generated from Ayla. So look to this for a pretty good counter. It might even have a chance against a Malicos squad if they have the Malicos Datacron, and you can target him right away. Otherwise, I wouldn't try it on Malicos. Just look for something that might be vulnerable to it. And then if you don't use First Order with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, this is a good like cleanup team for me. If you're at a lower level, it's a fantastic team. Just Hux lead with the TIE Pilot Omicron, and Sith Trooper do great damage. First Order Executioner, or Fox for short, do good damage as well, and then just have a tank in there. Crew is pretty valuable elsewhere, so that's why I put Stormtrooper. I don't get these too much, but I used to, and it was fantastic. But that is offensive squads. Moving on to defensive squads, we got Leia at the top, because this is going to be the best defensive team in the game, like hands down. Obviously, not many people have her right now, but if you do, and you really want to stick it to people, Han and Chewie are fantastic. Try to make Drogon the weakest health and protection-wise, so Chewbacca is guarding him. You can't even stun him or daze him or anything. Can't slow him down, so it's pretty annoying. And also, if you have the Drogon Datacron, you're going to get a bonus turn at the beginning from Drogon and Han. Like, that is crazy. And Han is getting, like, and if Chewbacca has guard on Drogon, they're getting assist too. It's a crazy amount of damage just out the gate before you even get to think about doing anything. So it's really obnoxious. I mean, I did a video on it yesterday, but my plan is JML with Cal, but if that goes south, I am hopeless. I also have Leia in Flex 2 with a different comp if you don't want to use Han and Chewie, because Han and Chewie are very valuable on that CLS team. Next, we got Sith Eternal Emperor here, and this is kind of like a sneak team. Like, if you want to put them in the back, if you want to draw out Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and Sith Eternal Emperor on the front and put them in the back, you can actually catch people off guard. We don't have the thick Datacron anymore, so it's not as potent as it was, also with the Sith ability block. But you could be strategic and catch your opponents off guard with them. Malik is fantastic there to help prevent any Wampa shenanigans. Sith Assassin for turn meters, Sith Emperor Trooper for protection. It's just great. And two different raid comps here. So if you are going to split up your Malicos team, put Cal and Ahsoka Fulcrum together, or another unaligned Force user, Cat, is an expensive option. But Cal really keeps his team alive, really bulks them up. And if you're looking to set this with the level 6 defense Ufu Kron, where they gain up to 200% defense, because that defense is like multiplicative of their defense when they start, so it actually has a much bigger impact. This is going to be a really annoying to kill. I think this will be a really annoying team out there for people that just use Malicos in another way. But another option, I like the sortie option. If you run sortie, put Ben solo, try to make him the weakest and put him in the last slot so he is VIP. Something complicated with uniques, like the order of operations. If you put Ben solo here, he doesn't get VIP, but if you put him at the end, he does. Barris is also annoying to keep people alive. I'm running high health on mine, but JTR is also a must-have with the Ray, in my opinion. Next, we're moving on to some pseudo GL teams. I love Treya on defense. Like, I really do. I don't think it's worth it to have her on offense. She's fantastic on offense. Like, she can kill a lot of stuff. But it's such a valuable team. It's like a better defensive team than even a lot of Galactic Legends. Especially if you have, mainly if you have Savage Press, like this exact lineup. Don't neglect their speed. Give Treya and Nihilus some good speed to get things going. But they might have to burn a GL on this team, and it's just fantastic. Can't praise it enough. Malgus is a little bit more vulnerable because of Jedi Cal, especially with his Datacron. It's really easy to take out Malgus and then work the team down. But a lot of people try to get through it really cheap using Bastille lead, and then they might just set themselves up for a 2-shot, so you might get some banners this way. And on offense, I don't feel comfortable with them as a Malicos counter until I see it, because they don't have the bulkiness from Set 9 Datacrons anymore, and Malicos does an insane amount of damage and could just wreck your face, like kill half the team in his first rock throw. So I do still like them on defense. Moving on to some less compelling defensive teams. We got Sortie here, and this is for if you don't have Leia, and if you're not running Sortie with Rey, and you don't run L337 with Rey. It's a lot of contingencies. But at a mid-game level, I think this is a pretty nice timeout bait team if you have them built up decently, or like early end game. So many qualifiers on what stage of the game you're in. But it can draw out a timeout from Wampa. Like Sortie will just have a lot of protection up if you matter well, and then give her a decent Datacron. L337 Zeta is great too. I just don't have it yet. I'm saving Zetas for Leia. I'm not going to run this comp, honestly, but it's pretty annoying if they don't have the right thing for it. And then Trench, if you do like him, you do want to use him, you pretty much have to use Wat Tambor in there, which is expensive. But it can be annoying. Like, it can be just tough, and if they don't have the right stuff to deal with it, I don't know, it might be good. So maybe I'll consider that as time moves forward. The next, Zori. I don't know what role Zori has on offense, so she's sticking with defense for now. A lot of people are used to her, like Afra is great against her, a Giant Revan team. There's options, but it's still tough. Like, you need to commit something to this team. So even if it gets one shot every time, like, it's still playing a role for you. It's taking a good A team to beat it. Next, Dash. This is for people like me that don't, for some reason, don't have his Omicron, don't have Vandor. I just haven't been able to spare the resources for his Omicron yet. I like Dash with Hondo. Like, I think Hondo is great in some form, one way or another. I have his Omicron, so it's like a turn 1 captive on someone. I have Nest here. Another option is Bam, but Bam you might want to save for offense, for like a Lord Vader cleanup with Bounty Hunters or something like that. Got a few newer teams down here, starting with Saw Gerrera. I do actually want his Omicron, and I do want to work up Baze Malbus, but his Omicron is really annoying. So if you have these two, obviously that's who you want to use. If you don't, I put just a couple others in here. I like that you have built up, but I don't like Mon Mothma as much on defense. It might be good this season with the damage reduction Datacron, but I feel like you can cherry pick it too well. So Mon Mothma is more of an offensive team. But for me, I like to put good Rebel fighters with Saw, because I think it's a team people really underestimate, and they might try to get away with a cheap counter and drop a battle. Same kind of thing with Tarful. I mean, you need his Datacron, but as long as that's going, this team is really annoying. I don't have Gersantin or OG Chewbacca or 3PO Chewie in here, because I like them with the CLS squad, but they would make it very potent, especially OG Chewbacca. And not everyone has clone Chewie built up. But keep an eye out for this team. Don't underestimate it if you see it on defense. Same with Ewoks. I mean, you need a lot here for it to be working, but you need Nisa ready, high relics, and you need everyone else in relics to use the Datacron. But if you have that Datacron and like the Chirpa Omicron, it's actually a pretty potent defensive team. So do not underestimate it. You might regret it. So that is all for defensive teams. And finally, we come to the cream of the crop, the flex teams. These could be used either on offense or defense. It's up to you, and this is kind of where a lot of the strategy comes into play in setting your table and planning for your attack. So JMK is super valuable. I used to call him the best, but I think Leia is probably the best right now. But super valuable either on offense or defense. You might want it on offense, because on defense, it could get beat by Inquisitors, even a Jedi Cal lineup with Jedi Revan. Just keep an eye out. For me, super valuable on offense because you can beat Jabba if you do it right. Lord Vader, you can beat pretty much everybody except Leia. So really important team. It's up to you where you use it. I don't know, man. But Leia, probably the best. If you're going to use her as an offensive team or on defense and you're not going to use Han and Chewie, the last 2 slots are pretty flexible. They have Jedi tanks built into the kit, but I don't think you need Kanan. A lot of people use Space Malbus. The Taunt and the Dispel is great. Pretty annoying, honestly, if you haven't built up. But yeah, like this team is going to do more than enough for you. If you take it on offense, probably going to beat pretty much everything. Except might have trouble in a mirror. But yeah, just fantastic team. Jabba, also flex. I think his days of being a defensive powerhouse are not what they used to be. There's too many counters for Jabba. There's like Night Sisters Cheese, there's Phoenix, there's CLS. There's just tons of stuff. Like there's Afra can work. So it might be time to put him on offense because he is fantastic on offense. I mean, he pretty much just don't take him against Lord Vader. I also don't think take him against Leia, but sometimes he can work on Leia. If it's not like the Han and Chewie lineup. And they're not like juiced to the gills with their Datacron. But super valuable on offense. Take out JMK, take out Rey, take out a lot of stuff. Then Rey also could be flex. I mean, it's kind of a cheese team. You can just... I think the Datacron that stacks her stats from targeting others is pretty good on offense because you can just stack them really high. Maybe take out another raid team, maybe cheese a JMK team, but can be valuable on offense. And Holdo's kind of a nice, Holdo's there mainly if you're taking on like Inquisitors or something. It's just an extra tank that can give you an extra chance at a whirlwind. Then for Lord Vader, this is kind of like a classic team. I have Thrawn there. You could also run Darth Vader. Darth Vader, I have slotted with Afra, but Darth Vader would be fine here. On defense, to stop Phoenix, Piet is pretty important. Canderous also has a chance of stopping it, but they get extra turn meter, which helps stop that Phoenix team. But you need Maul if you're going to put Lord Vader on defense. In my opinion, I don't think you want to run that without Maul, because it's a sitting duck for Phoenix. And maybe even bounty hunters. So if you put them on defense, you got to give up Piet or something else. Then Reva is a flex team. It's very strong. On defense, it is kind of vulnerable to Phoenix, but it's kind of like playing Russian roulette. Because Grand Inquisitor is going to go first, use Ready to Die, and put Torture on someone. If he puts Torture on Rex, they will lose. It's going to happen, pretty much. Unless you can put backup plan on Rex, then he dies and comes back. It's risky. It's like an 80% win rate on .gg, but it could go terribly wrong. On offense, you can take out a lot of stuff. Really easy against Jedi, Galactic Legends, JML, and JMK. Maybe not so easy against JMK. If they have the right setup with damage reduction for GK, could be annoying. But fantastic on offense or defense, other than those caveats. Then Malicos. I like him on defense, but he can do a lot on offense. I think he can beat Rey. He's a threat to Galactic Legends. We still need more time with him in 5v5, especially with the unaligned Force User Datacron, and he might be really fun to play with. So, just a titan of a team. Don't use the Malicos Datacron. It's actually bad. Use Seer Junda is my favorite, or second option, Ahsoka Fulcrum. Seer Junda's Datacron, if you have it, is going to do extra damage with that lightsaber throw. Make it really close to a pure insta-kill. And then Ahsoka Fulcrum will help her ignore taunts. But it's a great team. And CLS, this with the Rebel Datacron damage reduction is pretty fantastic. I think it is going to be a good Java killer this season. And otherwise, it could be fantastic on defense. That's going to be really hard to deal with because they gain a lot of turn meter. So your window of opportunity to kill them is going to be very limited if you choose to put them on defense. So fantastic team, just such a classic. One of my favorites out there, honestly. Next up, we got Afra. And Afra, I keep in flex even though she's vulnerable to basically CLS on defense. I know there's other stuff that can beat her, but the main fear on defense is CLS. If they don't have CLS dedicated, or like Bash, Han, and Chewie, like a high offensive, quick team, it might not be the best on defense. But on offense, it's great. I mean, Afra is a great GL cleaner-upper, like a GL janitor for one, but then also great against Zori, that 100% turn meter at the beginning and reducing that bonus turn at the beginning and increasing cooldowns. Super valuable, but don't try to clean up Leia with it because she's not going to reduce the cooldowns and it might not work as well. Halfway done with the flex teams right now. We got Gas next, and I am looking forward to using my Gas on offense this 5v5, but on defense, it is pretty good too. Star Killer, I think, has been traditionally an amazing counter, same with CLS, but with the combination of Jedi damage reduction and armor penetration on this team, nothing is a sure bet. So on defense, it's going to be pretty great. I also, if you're going to take out Malicos, which is my intention, I think you want a lot more health than protection across the whole team, and you want them pretty fast. So you want speed and health, which is how I've remodded my whole 501st team, because you want them to get around, get through their turns quickly once gas goes down, and Malicos is going to destroy the protection at like right away before gas goes down, so they're only going to have health. So that's why I modded them like that. But I am really looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. General Grievous, it's a good, flex team. On defense, it could be good. I think it might be vulnerable to Wampa once again. Bad Batch, pretty easy, but it's an option. If you're in a lower Ring of Kyber or an Erodium or something lower than that. But on offense, it's a selective counter. I think it's like if you use a burner on JML, get rid of their specials, you can take out maybe JML with General Grievous. I never say JML on defense, but it's an option. And then Qui-Gon, using the Ayla Datacron, I think is a good idea. The absolute best comp here would be instead of Mace and Ayla, you have General Kenobi and Ahsoka Tano, but that's expensive. You need them for JMK. So, offense or defense? On offense, they hit really hard. On defense, they're vulnerable to Bad Batch. But if you play it right, you could draw Bad Batch and then have them. Or you could set up a team that might be Bad Batch. I think that's the GK and Ahsoka Tano team. But might be offense for me this season. And then a flex team is kind of like the best Dash Rendar team. I like Hondo in there, Vandor built up, Dash with his Omicron, which I don't have, and then IG-11 and Queel. It's going to be pretty good on offense, and will be pretty decent on defense too. But I'm not an expert because I don't have all that stuff. Geonosians, I put them as flex. I'm not going to ever set them on defense because at my level it's not going to work, but it might work for you. And it's a good cleanup team. For one, it's good for cleaning up a solo Rey. So, not to be neglected entirely, but not fantastic either. And then if you're going to run Talzin, not for Java, you probably want to just use Daka and Zombie. That's why I have this lineup here. Marin is fantastic. Without Marin, there's limited application for Night Sisters. I'm not sure how I'm going to use my Night Sisters this season. I really need to learn to wield them without the Marin Datacron, which I relied on last 5v5. And then if you don't have JMK, which a lot of you probably don't, you probably won't have Cat either. But if you do have Cat, this is a fantastic team. You can take out Galactic Legends. I don't have experience with it, so don't ask me how. And I don't know which ones. Might just be JMK or JML or Rey or something. But it's a great team. Offense or defense, I think this is pretty scary. If you don't have Cat, put in Mace, and I think you're good. You can call it a day. So that is all the flex squads. And that is it for this one. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you did enjoy and learn something. If you have recommendations for me, please leave them in the comments. And if it's even great, I might pin it if it's good a recommendation for everyone. But good luck this season. Don't forget to like the video if you did enjoy and sub if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Thanks guys. See ya.